Morning, students. This is going to be our second lesson for the day, and this is NS7-33, so it's lesson 33 of number sense, found on page 129 and 130. What we're talking about is, earlier we talked about place values and just decimals in general, and what we wanted to understand is decimal fractions. It's a very messy looking F there. It's an F right there. Oh, it's an R as well. Oof, messy, messy, messy. So what are decimal fractions? Decimal fractions are any number that has a power of 10 as a denominator. So these are all decimal fractions because what we mean by that is they can be easily converted into decimals based off of what is on their denominator. The denominator being increments of 10. Okay, so powers of 10 is another way of saying that. So this is 6 over 10, 14 over 100, 271 over 1,000, 11 over 100. These are all easily transferable into decimals because as long as I understand what the order of values are on the decimal line, I should be able to do this. So what I mean by that is right here I have a little handy dandy diagram. It's not not amazing, not beautiful, but it works. So if we were to start working that way, like looking left, we get bigger and bigger numbers. And so it goes ones, tens, hundreds, and you just keep going, right? So bigger and bigger, this is my decimal point. Now, what's interesting about decimals is it's like this ones is almost like a mirror, or this right here is a mirror, and everything starts over again except goes backwards. So if we work to the left, if I say the number 301 in comparison to the number 2000, I know 2000 is bigger. But after the decimal point, actually, it's actually the complete opposite of that. So 2000ths is smaller than 300ths because it's opposites, it's backwards. Okay, so what I mean by this is we want to look at, let's say this number right here, 271 thousandths. How am I going to place this in the right spots? Well, easily enough, I could just put a decimal spot in front of it. That doesn't always work though, because sometimes I have to use zeros as placeholders. What a zero does is it makes it so that everything doesn't get squished all together. So what I mean, I'll show you what I mean by that. I have 7 over 10. Okay, so this is 7/10. So where's my 10th bracket? Well, my 10th column is actually directly after my decimal. So this 7th in the right spot. This next one is 7 over 100. So now that's 7/100ths. The hundredths column is actually 2 spots away from the decimal. Now, because there's no number here, I have to put a 0. Because if I don't, this actually then turns into 0.7, which is clearly not right because this is in the 10ths column. Okay, so my 0 in this situation is really important because it sort of makes it so that this number isn't getting squeezed in. It's a placeholder. This exact same thing for this 93 over 1,000. 93 thousandths, that means my very first number, the way this works, by the way, is the very first number that is mentioned, so 7/100ths or 93 thousandths, because it said thousands, this number on the farthest right side needs to go into the thousands column and everything else just falls in line. So this is 93 thousandths. I should find that my thousands column, which is ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So that's 3 spots down, 1, 2, 3. So I put my 3 here. And what it could look like if you wanted to is you go, okay, 93 thousandths, tenths, hundreds, thousands. I put my 3 down. I put my 9 beside it. And then anything that's left over, I just put zeros. And that ensures that I'm getting it correct every single time. This is the most common mistake for students, is when we come to these sorts of fractions and decimals, students won't get where they're supposed to put their numbers. And that's just a matter of, you really look at the denominator and then you sort of map it out almost, and you plan it out and say, okay, well, my thousands are 3 spots away. 1, 2, 3. I'll put my 3 down, my 9, and my 0. Okay, so that's kind of what we're working on today with this page 90, or sorry, 127, 129, 130. I think it'd be good practice for you to complete them all. A lot of this is just a couple of numbers at a time, so it's not like you're doing anything too intense. But please pay attention to times when there's zeros, because that will cause numbers to be slightly different than you expect it to be. Okay, so this is page 129, 130. Please complete all the questions. Have a good day.